Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. This bloody transfer window, it's a disgrace and I'll tell you why in a minute. And I'm blaming Man City, but I'm blaming a lot of other people as well. We've also got Liverpool looking at 3 midfielders. They won't buy all 3, but 3 midfielders. And Chelsea making a shock bid for an Arsenal player, which I think is an intelligent bid from Chelsea that Arsenal should let happen. Let's see about that. Before we get into all of that, though, let me just say that we've dropped a new episode of the podcast and we've got our first guest ever on Goldbridge Saves Football. It's Ben Foster. Links in the video description. Some fantastic topics in there. Van Dijk's overrated. Wrexham will win the league before Spurs. This ridiculous pundit, bias against Manchester United. United don't get preferential treatment. Also, who's the best captain in the Premier League? You're going to love that section. And I'm not going to move on it. Anyway, listen on Spotify, iTunes, links in the video description. It's a banging episode. Support Goldbridge Saves Football podcast and be part of the movement. Link is in the chat. It's a brilliant episode. It's extra long as well. It's an hour episode instead of 45 minutes. Right, let's get into it. Sure, right. I'm going to start off with, well, look, I'm not happy about this transfer window. I think there is elements of this transfer window that leave a very bad taste in the mouth. And I'll come to that in a moment. But let's start off on more positive potential news. There is a few days left of this transfer window. There is a lot of clubs trying to do a lot of things. Man United are trying to get Cucurella on loan from Chelsea. They're looking at doing other things. Chelsea themselves looking to do business. Liverpool as well. Arsenal, maybe not. Man City, we're going to discuss. Lots of teams using the last few days. And people will say, why does this happen, Mark? It happens because a lot of clubs think they can get good deals at the end because other clubs get desperate. That is true, but there's so many people queuing up to do stuff that it can get very chaotic. And I'm trust me on this, it will get chaotic. Liverpool themselves are being linked with Ndidi at Leicester, Douglas Luiz at Aston Villa, and Gravenberch at Bayern Munich. I mean, I don't know what Liverpool fans think about that. Out of those 3, I think Douglas Luiz at Aston Villa is the best of the 3. Let me know in the comments, which, whether you're a Liverpool fan or not. If I had the choice between Gravenberch, who I think will be good but needs some development, Douglas Luiz, who I think is ready, and Ndidi, who I think has fell off, not literally fell off from the Premier League into the Championship, but also as a player. I think for Liverpool, I saw Endo at the weekend, and I thought, he looks okay, but he looks like a short-term fix. Ndidi, short-term fix. I think that Luiz would be the right one to do. But why would Aston Villa want to sell him? They're going to play Liverpool at the weekend. So Liverpool fans, let us know what you think about that. They will buy a midfielder because they have to buy a midfielder. And I think that was evident at the weekend. But who they go for is going to be very interesting because they've got to do something. And everyone knows they've got the money to do it. Chelsea, this was interesting. I read this morning. Chelsea would like to take Emil Smith-Rowe from Arsenal to Chelsea. Really, really interesting deal. Look, I don't know. There's a lot of Arsenal fans going in on Arteta at the moment saying he's had a brain transplant or something because some of his decisions he's making. I saw Smith-Rowe in the under-21s. I've seen him play for Arsenal over the last couple of years. I mean, he's a decent player there. When he plays well, he's really good at carrying the ball. And I think I'm really surprised. As soon as they bought Havertz, I thought, well, that's the door slammed in the face of Smith-Rowe. And how ridiculous would it be that Arsenal pay £65 million for Havertz, a player Chelsea doesn't want, and then Chelsea bring Emil Smith-Rowe in, who I think is exactly the sort of player that Pochettino should get the most out of. But I think Arteta should be getting the most out of. He's the sort of player that Arteta should work with. But if I'm Smith-Rowe, I'm looking at it and I'm going, we got Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka, Trossard, Vieira, obviously Havertz, they're all ahead of him. Where does he even get any game time? Oh, Carabao Cup, 20 minutes. He needs to go and play football. Arsenal really probably do need to cash in. Arsenal fans, would you be happy with that? Logically, looking at it as an outsider, I think it has to happen because I don't see a path to football. And path to the first team is very different, but he's been on the verge of the Arsenal first team, in the Arsenal team for a couple of years now. He's now a bench player at best. I think Arsenal might need to cash in there. And it'd be very interesting if Chelsea can do something with that. Although I will say again, why are Chelsea buying another attacking midfielder? When are you going to buy a striker? When are you going to go out there and buy a striker? You need a striker, 100%. And that leads me to the sour taste of the transfer window. I bloody hate this, and it's convenient that it's Man City again, isn't it? But look, Man United will have done it. We did it last year with Anthony at Ajax. I cannot stand players that go on strike. And I'm talking about Nunez at Wolves. I mean, it's great if you're a Man City fan. Oh, he wants to come to us, he's on strike. But when you're the victim of that sort of thing, it's just ridiculous. He signed a massive contract at Wolves a year ago. Oh, I don't like it now. I want to go. Man City want me. I want to go. So I'm going to go on strike. What a petulant mercenary. I don't like that at all. And look, people will say, well, Anthony did it. And look, you know, I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. If there's a player in the last couple of days that I really want for United and he goes on strike, you go, oh, yeah, he really wants to come to us. But, you know, we all know that's red-tinted glasses. Man City fans will be saying the same about Nunez. He's so desperate to play for Pep, he's going to go on strike. But I just don't like it. I just do not like it. Wolves, you know what this is? You know what I don't like about this? Is that Man City very rarely pay over the odds anymore. They have a ceiling. So what this will be about is that Nunez is aware of that, whether it's through Man City or not. He'll be aware that Man City aren't going to pay a stupid fee. So therefore, he's trying to shaft Wolves twice. One, he wants out and he's gone on strike. And two, he's forcing Wolves to take the cheap price, which benefits Man City twice. Ultimately, Wolves are not saying that Nunez cannot leave Wolves. They're probably saying we want 70 million for him. Man City are probably saying, well, we're never playing that. We don't overpay. We don't get held to ransom. The bid is the bid. We're not paying much more than what we've bid. And then Nunez is aware of that and thinks, I'm going to miss my opportunity, so I'm going to go on strike. And I think ultimately it's disgusting. It's disgusting because Manchester City are ridiculously wealthy. Ridiculously wealthy. They can afford to give another 10 million to Wolves. And also, Nunez just shows no class. You've only been in the Premier League for 1 year and you're going on bloody strike. I think it's appalling. And you contrast that with someone like Declan Rice, who knows that his price is ridiculous, £100 million, but he's not going on strike, is he? And Arsenal end up paying the price to get Rice out of West Ham and everybody's happy. This is just bully boy tactics, I think. And I think that ultimately, and the bully boy is Nunez. You know, he's trying to bully Wolves into selling him on the cheap. Wolves have got a price to sell. Man City should pay it. Everyone gets what they want. But no, it's the rich getting richer, isn't it? And ultimately, the victim is Wolves here because they're being forced to sell by a player. I just don't like it. I've never liked it. In this modern game where the players get paid ridiculous money anyway, it's not like Wolves are saying you can't go and you're on rubbish money. He will be on a good contract at Wolves. He signed that contract a year ago. He would have been smiling in the photos a year ago. And a year later, I'm on strike because I want to go and play for Man City. I just don't like it. I don't like it. As a player, he'll be a very good player under Pep Guardiola. And I will say this quite comfortably. Manchester City are going to walk this league. So you can understand why the player wants to go and play there. But, yeah, I don't like all that strike stuff. And people were saying, well, yeah, you know, a year ago. Look, as I said, if Nunez was doing it to come to Man United, I'd have a very different attitude. But that's football. You know, on United stand, I probably would be a bit of a hypocrite because I love it. He wants to come to us. He's on strike. But in general, I don't like it. I don't think it's a good look. And look, we sort of had it with Ronaldo when he wanted to go to Real Madrid. It's never a nice feeling when someone does it to your club, and ultimately it betrays footballers as what they are, greedy. But Slow Sports News. Look at the greed of players this summer. You know, look at them all going off to Saudi Arabia. It's all about greed, and club loyalty belongs with the fans. Morals belong with the fans. General footballers, general club owners, the broadcasters, the officials who run the leagues. It's all about the money, isn't it? It's all about the money. Anyway, get your comments in below. A lot to get involved in there. Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans, Man City fans, if you can find any. Don't forget to give the podcast a listen. It was brilliant today. Really enjoyed it. Some really big topics. I think I'm going to get clipped about the best captain in the Premier League. But for me, it was the best topic in the podcast. Go and give it a listen. Links in the video description. I'm right on a lot of things. But I'm right about that. Give it a listen. Make sure you smash a like on this video as well. I'll speak to you on the next one.